the bottom line is this. Ain't nobody asking why the hell did the Catholic Church remove certain books from the Bible? What is it about those books? If you go read those books, bro, it'll change the way you even think about spirituality and religion. And you ain't got to read them all. You can just read one of them that they remove, and you will know your pastor is a damn liar, right or wrong. If you read the book of Enoch, guess what you gonna know? You're gonna know that ain't nobody even supposed to even be believing in Christ. You're gonna know that when Christ was saying we gods, Enoch ascended up to the highest heaven like John, and the original teachings of Christianity was about you being God and about your soul inside the body passing through the earth realm. You used to be a sperm, now you're a body. Your body, just like a sperm cell, is going to transform to some greater and greater and greater. They call it the stairway to heaven. Bro, when you start researching what the ancestors said about life and the universe, you leave the church and say, my goddamn pastor just collecting tithes. He don't know the deep shit about the soul's journey in the flesh. And that's why the Bible said in the book of Revelation, most of the people that's church members gonna go to hell with the Antichrist and the beast, and only a small number of people. He that has an eye, let him see. He that has an ear, let him hear. Why would the Bible say that? The people that wrote the Bible were not believers, y'all. They were knowers. They were Gnostics. That's the root word of know, which is Gnostic. Gnostics. We didn't never research this stuff, see? But if you talk like this, people will be like, what are you talking? Guess what, bro? This is knowledge they didn't teach us. But shout out to the panel. See, when I do...
Bringing that
yeah, go ahead. You go ahead.
I also wanted to mention what gets lost in translation, what gets changed in order to.
That's exactly what we have to talk about. Man.
Yeah, like now if he was going to quote something from the other book, and he's saying like he's still, in tune with the greater than man concept, the what happened when God decided to wipe the whole, because shortly after those books, that time period, came the Great Flood, right? According to the new book. And in the new book, it just seems more like a fairy tale because you try to figure out how, all the animals got replaced and all the bugs and all the little creatures and stuff. It was all on one boat. So they wanted to start from there, but they always put themselves in as the image. So where the rest of us even come from? That's that kind of stuff I would have been asking.
Shout out to the panel, man. Shout out to Bro and everybody, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on real quick, man. Appreciate y'all.
Shout out to my nigga AJ Davis. Hold on, AJ, I'm about to give you the mic, my brother. You already know. Shout out to Remember 444. Hey, look, big shout out to Chief Ironbush because Chief Ironbush, can you unmute for just a second, man? I want to give you like some flowers. This is needed right here. What I'm about to do.
Greetings, beloved. Balance and wholeness to you.
Balance, peace, and love to Chief Iron Bush. You know why I want to give you some flowers, bro? I was tuned into one of your streams the other day, bro, and you was saying something about how the word Bereshit means be reset.
That's correct. In what they call Hebrew, which is actually Phoenician and later mixed with Canaanite, it simply means to be reset.
Yeah.
So according to their cosmology, they believe that was the beginning of the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
When we have artifacts going back 60,000 years showing that we were a matriarchal people of great mother made a woolly mammoth tusk, great mother artifacts going back 60,000 years.
Right.
And they talking about this world's 5,000, 6,000 years old. Now, brother, what I will tell you is, salute right back to you, because I had both of my sons in the vehicle when we were listening to it. My eldest son he'll be 20 in about 60 days. My younger son is 16. So they listen when I put you on. They're around frequently, but they was in the vehicle, so they had to listen. So, I had it up, and I was hyped because I wanted to hear it myself. And brother, what I will say is, the debate was over in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It really didn't even have to go beyond the first 10 minutes, because once he came on and got into the whole antics of the pale face thing, the spread in consciousness was just evident at that point. It was like someone that had a doctorate degree debating a third grader with their Dr. Seuss book, and the third grader just kept going and say, "Well, unless you can show me in my Dr. Seuss book." That's what it sounded like. And even that, my son, my eldest son came out and said, "This dude is a captain of the Hebrew. It sounds like he should be a private of the Hebrew Israelite." Because he wasn't even going, he kept talking about the book, and he wasn't even going to the right verse. If anybody really know the book, every little verse that he did bring up, you can find one that contradicts the exact verse that he brought up in that book.
Yeah.
So every single thing that he did reference in the book, you can find a contradiction somewhere else. And then at the end, and brother, you literally, this is how cold you was with it. And I told my sons this too. You literally told the man what he was gonna do, and he did it.
And he did it. He did it. Yeah. He didn't break character. That's what I loved about it.
Listen.
Dan says you didn't
That's
break
how
character.
I know.
That was dope.
Come on, man.
That was dope.
Bro. Iron
you
Bush.
Literally
That's
told
what.
the man.
Come on, bro. You saw that,
and not just once. Every single time at the end
I
of
told, bro.
You ain't even need to last like 2 to 5 minutes, but you just kept going anyway to throw the cherry on top. So you was like, you used that a couple times. I'm gonna use this last 2 minutes to tell you what you finna do, and he still did it.
Real talk.
They so fucking predictable, bro.
And then at the very end, what he tried to do, just like you said, he tried to pull the mirror out, and he was over there laughing with it on mute and stuff. He was like, I won.
Yeah.
Just because you said you agree with a couple little angles, you wasn't saying I agree with y'all. I
gave him that bait right there. That was a little bait I gave him.
You didn't say I agree with your doctrine.
Yep.
You said I agree with some of the things that y'all doing in the community. That's nothing. That doesn't mean there you go, y'all. You lost the debate.
Right.
And then he could not grasp the fact what you were speaking of about manifest destiny.
Come on,
he
man.
was literally reading off of Wikipedia and Google. This man was reading.
And you know how you know that's true? Because I think that him reading off that fucked him up, and that's what made him interpret blackface as something literally.
Exactly,
brother.
Yeah. If you would have just said something like the version of it, like he tried to obfuscate by you saying blackface and wanted to use that particular definition, but you could have just said the black version of it, or you could, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he knew exactly what you was trying to say, but he couldn't deal with it. He couldn't deal with it, so he had to obfuscate, act like you was wrong for saying it wasn't blackface. And then, you know what I'm trying to say, but he just obfuscated. That's what I was gonna say. He obfuscated that way. He didn't have to deal with what you were saying. He knew what you were talking about, bro. He knew what you were talking about.
And you brought it out of, like you said, you literally set him up, because at the end, you brought the root, the core of it all out, which is racism. It came out at the end. It came out. I mean, he cut right to it. We hate all white people. But he admitted we asked who their fathers is and this and that. And brother, and I agree with you with that whole kissing on the feet thing, brother. If you're my enemy and I hate you, you
Right.
ain't putting your feet, your lips on
On my
nothing over
nothing
here.
over here.
You
Come
ain't
on,
even gonna
man.
come
Come on,
near my
bro.
Hey,
family,
yo,
brother.
when
You
I
ain't
saw
Come
even
that,
on,
I was
bro.
like, what the what? I
Come
was
on,
like,
brother.
bro.
He
yo.
was bragging
You
though.
ain't
He
even
was
gonna
And they
come near my
brag about it
daughter,
like it's
my
a
son.
flex. They
You're
swear
not
it's a
even
flex.
coming on my property, let
Come on,
alone
man.
kissing my feet, brother.
Come on, bro.
You can't even kiss my truck, let
That's
alone my
facts.
feet.
That
You,
see, and see, this what I'm saying, bro. When we come with the smoke for the Hebrews, it ain't like nobody else because we ain't really picking on them. We ain't like everybody got their jokes and shit, but we coming. It's humor, it's fun, but it's facts. That's what make it so real, bro. Because like you saying, when you start to think about how they move, like they get a lot of respect. But if you think about why would you want your enemy to kiss anything on your body?
and then he tried to flip it on you about when you brought up like, where the bikers at? Where the man with the white hats on and all that? And
Yeah.
here's the thing: this is how I know the gap in consciousness is so uh, profound between you and him. He can't even, I know that if he, just from the dialogue, he can't even conceptualize about black nobility and the hidden hand. You know what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying? About who is really behind the pale face that he's
Hell
talking
no,
about.
he can't.
He ain't even on that level where
The
he's even there
Bible ain't
yet.
gonna let them even go into those kind of joint, bro. You see what I'm saying?
Fact.
Stuck there. They get stuck there. It's like, what the hell? You got
Yeah.
stuck there. It's like,
that
no,
book.
it's more information that you can read and research about. Like, what? You're not. What? He didn't get the whole blackface. Like Sanchez, you were saying it as again the holistic view, meaning all of these things that we've done in our society relates to blackface.
Right.
All that shit, all that
Well, he
oppression,
couldn't.
all of that, it's blackface. That's it.
I didn't
Because
mean to
watch
cut you
this
off.
right. I'm gonna show y'all some real shit right quick and why what I'm saying why it's a hot like it's a respect level like Chief Ironbush, right? When you have see Chief Ironbush is on some Aboriginal shit. And so the thing is this right here. The Aboriginal Moorish side will go into the legalities, the paper genocide, the real history of our people. Whereas the Hebrew Israelites will try to make like we the Jews in the Bible, which is a fairy tale. That don't tie us to the land and none of that stuff. That's why I want to see. They don't want to go there. I'm telling you, bro. That's one of the biggest deceptions with the Hebrew shit too.
Bro, I can even tell you who brought that over here because I'm connected. I'm what you call Sagamore of the Lenape Hopewell tribe, which means I'm chief of one of the three clans. And Lenape is now called Delaware. It was originally called Lenape Hoking. And William Penn is the one that came over here and wrote a book saying that we was the lost tribes of Israel. That's where the whole thing started
See what
with
I'm saying?
William Penn. And
Wow.
See what
they,
I'm
I
saying?
guarantee he don't even know that.
William Penn. Okay, I think
I'm
I've heard of
telling you,
that
like
before
the
too.
shit that you see, like if a nigga like me, Chief Ironbush, most of the people on this panel, like your Dan Callaways, your top cats, like we may not all agree on everything, but here go the real shit, how you separate the real from the fake. When a nigga telling you your history is right here where your feet at, that's a real one.
He's more
Fact.
likely to be Aboriginal than he is, Hebrew from Africa.
Exactly. And don't even know it because he placing all his chips on a book.
Mm.
And that book that was written against him, it was written to control him.
Bro, that's they took that book to every land. I mean, the Romans was Roman. They roamed the land and they took their book and they have changed it 30,000 times and they did it on every land. Canada, Turtle Island, Iceland, Ireland, Sweden, all everywhere. Africa, South Africa, West Africa. I mean, they done took it everywhere and they change it up and they make everybody think that that's who the book is talking about. So you got people in Ethiopia, no, we're the real ones. You got people over here, we're the real ones. It's just a worldwide psyop, man, and it's sad, especially where we're coming into this age of knowing. You can call it the age of Aquarius, but it's really just the age of knowing. We're coming out of the age of beliving into knowing. So it, unfortunately, I have nothing personal against that brother in some kind of animosity way, but he literally is the type of person, and they, I'm not speaking for every individual, but as a group, majority, they are holding people back. And that was what Brother Sanchez's whole title was, basically, that you are literally doing what the white man wants to do, but he needs you to get on the stage and do your tap dance so we can get this group of people to stay with this mindset.
That's called divide
Right.
and conquer. Divide and conquer.
Exactly. And he fell into it. His very last statement was like, we teach to hate all white men. But you just said that color don't matter, and there's all the Hebrew Israelites come in all shades. I know when people, I live it. Y'all see the shade, the tone of my skin. So I get it all the time, everywhere I go. Are you a real chief? And this and that. You know what I'm saying? So I live it, brother. I know all about it. You know what I'm saying? But he admitted that. It wasn't even close, man. And then at the end had the nerve to start the dude was started laughing this and that and try to act like he won. It really reminded me of like a third grader debating a grown man. And I even told my sons, I said, at this point, I know Sanchez probably felt like just ending it because it just got frivolous. It got to the point, Brother Sanchez, I know you knew that like
I agree, bro. I agree.
it got frivolous to like at a point where he just kept, just like I said, I mean, he probably would call you a prophet, but you was just that much more elevated than him consciously. You told the man what he was gonna do, and he did it time and time again. Every time he got the mic, he fell right into exactly what you said. I was bagging up in the truck with
He
my
could
sons, man,
he couldn't make an argument outside the book. You know what I mean? So
and he didn't even do that good.
yeah, and he when Sanchez broke it down, like why your God elevate the oppressor, you know, that part when he was saying why he ain't punishing them when they was way more brutal than the transgressions of his own people. Why you put them in charge of our discipline? He ain't had no answer for that.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Like
And look,
yeah.
my fault,
No,
Sensei.
no,
Go ahead.
you got it. Go ahead. No, you got
He
it.
kept, and then I noticed he started quoting Christ. Well, they don't truly believe in Christ. They believe in Mashiach. The Mashiach gonna come back with a rod of iron to rule all the nations. That's not Christ. The Christos is the anointed one. That's in the Christ said, I abide in you, you abide in I, and we abide in the source of
Yeah, come
eternal
on,
life.
condemn these damn Satanists. Because
Right.
guess what,
So
Chief Ironbush? The reason they shit don't align with Christ, it align with the Meshiach, it's because they really worship the demiurge and they don't
exactly.
worship the consciousness. Christ ain't even a person, it's an archetype for higher consciousness.
Fact. That's a fact. And I mean, even in their own book, Yahuwah, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it, Enlil, it says, I create evil, but I form good. So
Yep.
it's basically admitting I can't make nothing good, but I can create evil, but I can form good. I
Hey,
can
guess
kind
what?
of mold it.
Hey, Chief, guess what you talking about? The Baphomet, which is the God that creates order out of chaos. That's the God that
Exactly.
says, I can't really make good directly, but I can make evil appear as good. Now, who watched that movie called Vampire in Brooklyn? When
Oh
Eddie
man,
Eddie
Yeah, Eddie
Murphy
Murphy.
had
Yep.
all them Christians saying evil is good.
Good.
And you saw how he did it, how he convinced them of that in this same kind of way, like Creflo Dollar, like how these, like the synagogue is saying that the Bible condemned, but these niggas have got the whole world thinking like me. All of us on the panel are like the tinfoil hat Satanists and conspiracy theorists. We're really, we're what Jesus would have been, because Jesus would have been going against the church, the papacy, all of the social norms. That Jesus would have been a tinfoil hatter or a conspiracy theorist.
Fact.
I
Fact.
got one for you. I got one for you, Sanchez.
Agreed.
The Star of David is a pentagram. All you have to do is draw a circle around it.
But yeah, that's facts too.
And they'll
you,
try to
yeah,
say that that's not their star and this and that, but King Solomon had temples of Moloch, Baal, all of them. It's
Yeah,
all
oh
written
yeah.
right in their
Come on,
book. So
man.
that is one of their stars, so they can't deny it.
I be tripping on if we know this, why don't they know? But they don't want to know this though. They don't want to know this though.
That's what I be wondering. That's what baffles me as well. It's like you quote, you say line upon line, precept upon precept, but if you knew it, then how come you don't know that the verses that the little baby, and not to disrespect the brother, but they were baby verses. The little baby verses that he did spit, you can easily find the ones that go against it. You know what I mean? Like, thou shalt not kill. Well, the next 2 chapters later, he said, go kill everything with breath in 60 cities, men, woman, and baby.
Come
But
on.
then, but he said, keep. They said, oh, that's because they were so evil, though, that they had to kill. But if they so evil, why did it say, but save the virgins, the girls ages 5 to 13, and take them as your wives this night? Taking them as your wives is kidnap, pedophilia, and rape that same day. So that's the God you serve. And just like the people that Sanchez, you knocked it out the park. Just like you said, how come he not punishing the people that's doing wrong? The reason being is because the people that's doing wrong are the ones that are truly worshiping this deity correctly. They giving him blood sacrifices and all that stuff that's all through that book, that blood magic and sex magic and all. They doing all of that. And see, the people that think they the chosen people, so they're not doing it. So that's why they not at the top. They just want that. All they want to do is switch roles with them. It's all about rulership.
Cam up.
It's all about rulership.
But see, Chief, I'm gonna show you some real shit, right? When people say, I'm a Christian, are you really? Because a Christian is a follower of Christ, and Christ was an enemy of the church and the state. If I can show where your organization is in the bed with the church or the state, you on the same people team who would have crucified Christ.
That's right. I always tell people that we know that Christ is an energy, but when you're talking to somebody who just becoming aware, I tell them, Christ was the most anti-religious, person or persona that stepped, was 10 toes down on this plane. He's anti-religion. He wasn't. They say, oh, he's a Jew. He was this, he was that. My man was going against the top of the Jews, the Pharisees. They were the lead Yahweh.
Your small hats. Them your ancient.
Yeah, exactly.
See what people don't know, Chief Ironbush. Let me show these motherfuckers something real quick. Now I got a screen share because they ain't gonna get it if I don't. Let's go deep with this shit because you cooking. And I just want to share them some. They don't know what the enemy look like, and I think this is a good opportunity to show them. So look, people, when we talk about the Pharisees and Sadducees, this was the religious order that was influencing the Caesars back in the day. And if you look at what that involved to today is right here. It is the small hats that you see got your president wearing a yarmulke kissing the Wailing Wall.
Yep. And that little curl they got coming down their head goes back. It's called the curl of Horus, aka the curl of Osiris,
Uh-huh.
because the person they call Moses was a high priest from what we call Egypt that just took a bunch of people out in the desert when a a catastrophe happened, basically a changeover event. Took them all out there. A whole bunch of people. It was all different. It wasn't just a certain type of bloodline. It was all types of people that was just running there, scattering everywhere. And he took that Aten worship and turned it into and integrated it in with sun worship in the whole. And that's how it all happened, pretty much.
And the whole thing about the Aten worship becoming sun worship, that's when they said Moses learned in all the way of the Egyptian. People don't realize Moses wasn't a Christian. He was a member of the cult of Aten.
That's right.
So Moses was teaching Atenism, which what we would call Satanism, which is why Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. The serpent was Satan. And it was called what? The Nehushtan. And guess what? The Shtan at the end of Nehushtan, that's Satan name. Shatan is Satan. And Christianity comes from Satanism, which is why in the church they said when the Holy Ghost take over your body, it's going to use your tongue and make you. That's called demon possession, sir.
That's possession.
Right, that's possession. Let's go. You got
it. They put that Nehushtan in their temple for 700 years and burned incense and gave it blood sacrifice for 700 years.
Let's go. Guess what? So, you know what's crazy about what you're saying, Chief? If you go up to a Christian and say, do you believe in human sacrifice? They will say, no, that's Satanism. But then I'd be like, what was Jesus?
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. And you know what? There's not one verse in the Bible where the person that we come to know as Jesus said that he was sacrificing himself for the sins of the world. He said he was paying the ransom. And he said he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Why would he have to come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel? Because they were those that were so far gone on the blood magic tip with this false deity god of this world, the Yada Bayoff demiurge, that they were so far gone that this man was literally trying to save, like help them, break the spell. And here is what we call now today on Turtle Island, aka America. We call them what they call themselves, the Black Hebrew Israelites, and they are literally bringing this back. They trying to bring it back. They stay They've been on a 400-year curse for 6,000 years.
Talk about it.
It's so what? Now this go around you under the 300, 400-year curse because you didn't wear your tassels. Last 400 years because you had a cheeseburger. The last 400 years maybe because you missed the Shabbat.
Let's go.
You went to church on Sunday. Damn it! Now you got 300 more years of slavery under the white man. Like, come on, brother. Like you gotta get out your own way, man.
Hey, look, we gotta point this out, dude, because I'm gonna tell you how you separate the real from the fake. Remember when it say in the Bible, symbols will be their downfall, right? Now watch this. Here go the star of Remphan, what y'all know as Satan or Saturn, or what we call today the Star of David. Christians don't have a clue why the Star of David is associated with Christianity. It's so deep, bro, because David wasn't a Christian. David David, people got to realize Christianity didn't start till Christ so-called came. But so what was the religion of Moses and the Abraham and all them? And they don't realize when Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, before Christ was on the cross, Lucifer was on the cross. The people was in other words, Gnosticism, was symbolized by the medical symbol. Why do you all think Jesus is a healing God and the damn hospitals got the two serpents? Now check
And
this
I
out.
tell you something,
Watch
Sanchez,
this,
real quick.
Chief Ironbush. Watch this though. You said this, and I'm gonna give you the mic. You brought
All
up
right.
the two curls right here. You know what
Mm-hmm.
them two curls is the two serpents on the caduceus.
Mm.
Because look, I can show you this right here. Here go the serpent goddess. You see how she got a serpent in each hand? And before it was Christ on a cross with his arms open in between the two thieves, it was the serpent goddess with her arms open in between two serpents. And she had a bird landing on her head, which was the Holy Ghost landing on the cross. But the two serpents on each side of her is right here. Look, they turned that into a hairstyle. They embedded this knowledge, yo.
Yeah, and that
Into
hat
the
represents the bound god with the rings around Saturn and all that,
right.
Abaddon and
Yep.
Apollyon. But
Yeah, man.
on the subject of David, right?
Yeah.
In the Phoenician, what they call ancient Hebrew language, his name was Duvud. Well, you know, over there they read from right to left. So when the Nagini people took it to where what we call the Caribbean area, Duvud became voodoo.
Come on.
So what David practiced actually was what we know today as voodoo, and that's and same thing with Solomon. When the Nagini took it over to the Caribbean, it became Monasol. It basically that's just moon, earth, and sun magic, and you know with the it's basically astrology, but using it at a very high level to the point where it's divination.
And
You
check
know
this
that's what.
out. No, go ahead, Lang. You take
No, I
your
was just gonna
time,
say that's
bro.
what
Yeah,
the
give it
name
to him.
is. That's what Israel is. It's Isis, Ra, and El. Isis is the moon, Ra is the sun, and El is Saturn and all the rest of the
It's
wandering
facts.
stars.
It's facts. You know what? That's because the sun and moon is the polar opposites, like the negative and positive to a Taurus field. Once
That's
they
right.
get duality created, that creates so many layers of splits into like the different, just when we talk about the
Energies.
ethers, yeah, and that's
Like
the
the
whole
Elohim, the planets, the
right.
Elohim, the signatures, and the
And
Mercury
that's
and
why
Mars.
there you go, and that's why Isis and Ra come before El, which is like the plural Saturn concept.
Man, I like that. I like that right there. Yep. Once they establish that moon and that sun, that positive negative polarity, duality, then El can enter and run the show. And El is the ancient word for Saturn, and El Elyon is the
Yep.
Canaanite word for the Most High.
Talk to
And
him,
it's
bro.
Saturn. And the reason they called it the Most High was because in the nighttime sky, out of the wandering stars, not the fixed zodiac constellations that spin fixed, they never move except when they're just spinning with the firmament. The wandering stars that we call planets, Saturn would be the highest one that was visible, so they call Saturn El Elyon, the Most
Yeah.
High.
Come on.
So even when people say, you know, all praise to the Most High, you might in your heart be talking about the origin of your soul, but vibrationally and frequency that's coming out of your mouth somatically, you're
Yeah.
speaking about Saturn.
You know what's so deep about they don't know that they speaking about Saturn is that when we talk about Isis and Ra creating El, that's no different than me and you saying that the yin and the yang created the serpent in the middle. When the yin and yang come together, they make this serpent that split both of them.
Bro,
And
and
so,
that story
yeah,
is in the Nag Hammadi. It talks about
yeah,
the two fish. They
facts.
call
It
that the
does.
two fish in the Nag Hammadi
Yep.
with the Gnostic text. Yep. So
And
you
when they talk
absolutely on
about the
point.
two fish, those turn into the two pillars, Joachim and Boaz in
Yeah, you
Freemasonry.
there. Yep. Kayain and Abba El. That's Yah and El. Yah and El both is Yah de Beov.
Yep, that's exactly what I've been telling them. And I can show, look, watch this, right? Here go an image of Lucifer. Now, you know what's deep about this image right here? You know this was from Paradise Lost. Now, people may say, Sanchez, why that's important? Like, most of the literature that we get about Lucifer when it come to Cause to me, like, we gotta talk about Paradise Lost. Am I tripping? Because I've always incorporated Paradise Lost into my syncretism. But
Do
let
he
me,
got 3 people laying there on the picture? Is it 3?
I can't really, it's
I
so abstract. It's like three
Yeah, I
or
can't
four.
see it neither. It's
Yeah.
usually 3, and usually it's they got that with Abraxas as well in the
Yeah.
Baphomet.
That one,
What it
you
is,
right.
it's usually 3 people, and it started as the 3 Marys. So it was a representation of suppressing the triple black seed of the mother. And then it turned into like having dudes laying there and stuff. But the most ancient form of it is the 3 Marys that they say was the first ones that saw Christ resurrected. It was the 3 Marys. Well,
Mhm.
anything Mary means mother, like Sue, Maria. And you had a teaching,
Yeah.
brother, years ago
Because
about like
Mary is the Virgin Mary, Maru,
exact right.
all that.
And Sumeria, sum is the summit, and you
Mhm.
know Mary is of the mother. So before these Elohim Anuna came and hijacked it with their distorted masculine patriarchal energy, and that's all they're following. They don't even do they. Man, it's sad that they don't get it. Like, how do you not know at this point? You're a grown man and you're even 30s or 40s or whatever, and you
You
don't
know
know
why?
by now.
I'm gonna show you some. We look at biblical canon like the papacy gave us a certain set of books we can read. Those were the books that they revised and were able to tamper with to make us think that we need to believe on Jesus for salvation. But before they did all that deception, Jesus was an archetype that represented your kundalini rising up out of ego. When the Bible talk about escaping the bondage of Egypt, people don't realize that the word Egypt come from the word ego pata. So look,
Mm.
if you break down the word Egypt, the EGY is an egg, which is like a shell you in. The ego is like a veil covering you in ignorance, right? And watch this, Ptah is a potter god that gives birth to man, which is your higher self giving birth to your lower self, the body in the simulation, which is the body represent the manifestation of the soul's ego that got to be carried out. And just like a chicken hatching out of the egg, the soul got to hatch out of its own ignorance in the flesh to a higher plane of existence to even comprehend heaven.
Brother, I love that right there. And look, Ptah in the Egyptian language, right? Well, in Sumer, that was Enki. That was just the Egyptian version of Enki, Ptah, right? So then when the Greeks got it, they changed the word to Ptah to pater. And pater is the word that they use every time they say Christ says, my father. The original word in Greek
It's
is
pater.
pater.
And listen, and then remember that the word pater is the root word of patriarchy. They just
Mm,
move the art, so you on point because the patriarch is the papacy, the papacy, papacy,
yes,
papa. You
yes.
see,
That's
yeah.
right. And
Talk
the
to him.
Catholic Church, see, look, all it is the cathode and the anode. It's a battery. That's the archon system. So the Catholic Church is the cathode, and then they got Anu, and the Anunnaki is the anode. So one is the negative, one is the positive. You got people thinking the Anunnaki coming back to save them, and then you got people thinking Jesus is coming back to save them. So it's the positive and the negative, and then in the middle is the people that's the salt of the earth that's creating all the energy for these entities that you can call them archons, you can call them demons, fall, whatever you want to call them. It don't even matter as long as you know what they are, what they're doing. And they're using us as batteries, basically, because we're eternal souls. They're
Right.
not.
That's right. That's
They
right.
stuck in time. That's why they worship Saturn, because Saturn is what the
Now,
word chronos literally just means time.
mhm.
It just means time. You know, the father god that eats his own kids. That's
That's
what
right.
Chronos is, and that is where the whole sacrificing the son to the father comes from, and it goes back before Chronos, because Chronos is just Greek. It goes all the way back to the Jodish, the Jodish in the Vedics, and all of that. You know, so
that,
that we're
that
talking about a story that's about 12,000 years old, man. It's just been told in so many different ways, and there was
Hey,
no
look,
book
hey,
in
when I
everybody's.
chime in on that, because like
can I say
that's what I
one
was talking
thing?
about earlier. It
Okay,
was
go ahead. Yeah, Marlon.
yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Because everything you guys are talking about is a whole different Greeks and their gods, Chronos, time eats man, Chronos eats man back. All of that is totally separate from the Bible being written over in Africa by Ethiopians and other.
But no, 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 no,
There
no.
are
Hold on,
other
hold
groups.
on, one real
But
quick.
no.
Okay,
I
my
know. Let me
bad.
just land plane,
Land your plane.
then
You
break
right.
it down.
Got
So
it.
I'm saying that's the separation I put between the King James Bible and the original Bible, which was the Ethiopian Bible.
Yeah.
So they had a whole these things probably going on at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like in
But see,
different
you
places,
cooking, Marlon.
different religions.
I'm trying to throw you. See, cause I see where you going. You on point. That's why I'm pulling these up, right? Who remember the story of Pangea? See, here's
Uh-huh.
why they scared
Yeah.
of the Ethiopian Bible, y'all. The Ethiopian Bible literally speaks of creationism. It don't speaks of in the beginning there was a self-created God that spoke everything into existence. That's the demiurge. Watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Remember what we said earlier with the now let's go back to the etymology. The word father is the word pater, Phater, right? Let's do some etymology real quick. The word pater is the word pater, Pater, which remember Saint Peter, Pater, right? The word Peter turns into patri, which is the root word of patriarchy. Are y'all still with me?
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So watch this, right? Remember that the word patri, when we say petri dish,
Mm.
Oh
come on,
man.
let's talk about Pangea. Life is a germ dropped in the middle of a petri dish, expanding outward. I'm showing you the image right here. This what they call in the Big Bang. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's
watch
the
this.
matrix.
You feel me? And if you look at this sacred geometry of how germs expand from the epicenter of a petri dish, you can see what the god Saturn became and why the god Saturn and all of the artwork had the word pater or father above his name. He's personifying a petri dish. If why you think Saturn is a god that's represented by one eyeball? If you look at a petri dish and you drop a germ in the epicenter, all of the veins and what we call magnetic ley lines on the flat earth will expand from the middle of that petri dish outward, just like I'm showing you right here. Look at this. Now, look, when you
That's
look
the
at
good
this,
one right there, brother.
oh,
That's
bro,
the good
check
one.
this out. I know it's watch this. Look at this image here, and let's go to the AE map, which is the flat Earth version of the universe, and you can see how from the middle of the think about it. All our world is mostly water. That's like the serum to a petri dish. The ice walls,
Mm.
Antarctica is holding all the ocean waters in. This is a big petri dish, but the word petri is the word father. Father dish. This is another way of saying Yahweh's terrarium or the
Yeah.
Saturn, the god of the ring, or the lord of the simulation, right? Anytime you drop a serum into a petri dish, you're running a simulation or an experiment to get to get an alternate form of life, to try to see, for example, all of the ancestors looked at the earth like we're inside of the island of Dr. Moreau. Your body is like an experiment that spiritual creatures ran on themselves, and the mutation of the soul was the formation of the body. So, in order for you to see what you really are, which is the soul, the body has to die. The body would be like if I created a clone of one of you niggas and your soul was in the clone and the clone was saying, this ain't the real me. And I'm saying, no, you're a clone of yourself. Your body is a clone of your soul. And in order for your soul to awaken, your body got to lay down. That's the paradox of this whole simulation.
Brother,
For
You literally just told the whole story of the big head Jacob,
Yeah.
Dr. York narrative.
You got it. Yep.
So that circle would be big head Jacob. The germ was what he got from Esau. The story is he went to an island with the germ, placed it in the middle, and then created going outward and created this race.
Yes.
So that you literally just told the same narrative that somebody like Dr. York in the Holy Tablets and all that said. You just said it in a easier way, in a quicker way to understand it.
And
So
this
all
right
of these
here
stories,
is what
that's
this
synchronicity.
So when they say that God separated the waters from the waters, the God that they talking about isn't the creator. People got to realize something. They ain't gonna understand that we saying. Let me say this. A God isn't the creator. You got many gods, Mercury, Venus, Saturn. Gods is a see, the creator is one thing. The creator is responsible for the creation. The gods represented the many different archetypes and energies that steered man's behavior within the creation. So for each planet, Mercury, Venus, Mars, it'll break down in astrology as a certain energy that's controlling you, which is why people say, hey, on this day, you're going to act like this because the way the stars align, or hey, your zodiac make your energy this way. There's some truth to that, right? Because the stars are stargates, they're energy vortexes. The reason they are able to influence our behavior is because if you understand that what they call chakras are really the stars revolving around all of us, which is why the ancients said we're in the middle of the universe. That'll get you killed back in the day. If you teach a person, hey, the stars revolve around me, think about it. Guess how you perceive reality. Every day you walk outside, the sun and moon are revolving around you.
Fact.
It's almost like the earth is a stage and all the stars in the sky were created just like spotlights for a comedian on a stage to assist you. This teaching would have got you killed by the church back in the day, saying that we're in the middle of the universe and I'm God and the star. They would have said that's ego problems. Your ego big, you need to put him to death. That was the whole Crusades.
Exactly.
The Gnostics were put to death for teaching that we're in a simulation and every human is in the middle of their own universe. Put it this way. When y'all go online and you have a gaming community, everybody in their own house, but they sharing the same online space. I'm in my house, you in your house. The ancestors said every human is in their own cosmic bubble and all of our bubbles are interconnected for internet online. They said you ain't never really touched nobody. You ain't really, you like sleep hooked up to a machine like this, experiencing a dream world. And when you die, you're awakening from this shit like Neo in the Matrix. That became the story of Christ rising above. See, all of this shit was about people teaching us that the earth is a simulation and that your body is an avatar in a video game and your soul is what's gonna hatch up out of this shit when you breathe your last breath. Yeah.
Well, look, in the Bible, right, they say that them stars and them planets, and the Bible says they're the windows of heaven that can pour you out a blessing, right?
Yeah.
But the word blessing is really be blessing. And even in the Phoenician, or what they call Hebrew, it's Barak or Baraka. Like Abara, Ka, Dabara.
Yeah.
That's where they get it from. Barak.
That's fire.
So the word Baraka literally means to bend your knee. So you become less so I can become more. So when it says the windows of heaven going to pour you out a blessing, it's saying the windows of heaven, these energies are going to make you bend your knee. That's when people say, oh, Mercury's in retrograde right now. You're bending your knee to them lights up there. Your whole life is...
That's why they edited the Bible to take all of that action you're talking about above,
bro, I go with
and bring
all
it down to earth.
Yeah.
They bring everything down to a king. You know what I mean? So that they take that power over man.
Fact.
I think that's really cooking too when we
You know
talk
what?
about
Yeah, it is, AJ. For sure. Go ahead.
when we talk about why would they hide what we live on and change the astronomy and all that shit. That right there sounds like that's right up the alley right there. That makes sense, especially if you telling
Yeah.
me that they put your ass to death if you teaching that the stars are
Yeah.
revolving around you. If you go
Mm-hmm.
with that, they will put your ass. That makes sense why they would change
Hell
the
yeah.
whole shit. You know what
Well,
I'm talking about?
Hell
ask
yeah.
also
Yeah.
ask yourself this: why does the Vatican have a bigger telescope than NASA called Lucifer? They have
Mm-hmm.
the biggest telescope on Earth. The Vatican does.
And you
So
know
that
what's
tell you.
but
And the
Chief,
biggest wallet.
I want to answer that question right now. Now, a lot of people may give me pushback on this one. It's only going to make the show better. Here's what I'm going to say about all telescopes because I own one. A telescope don't give you no magical information that ain't nobody else got. Let me say that right now. Because the Dogon tribe know more about the sky than Sanchez, and Sanchez got a very expensive telescope that the Dogon tribe can't even afford. Can y'all track with me here? I'm
Facts.
gonna say this
Yes,
one
sir.
more time because niggas start getting their ego out of place with technology. I know when a nigga go spend $10,000 on a telescope, you can't tell him shit. So I just want to tell this brother something, that there's nothing you're gonna discover with a telescope that a dude in the jungle with a bone in his nose without one don't already know.
Fact.
It'll blow
Fact.
you the fuck away when you realize all of our anthropologists with these big budgets are just finding out shit that people in the jungle been knew for eons. And they tell you, how did they do it? How do we know it? How did the Mayans know all? They go into, let's play dumb now. Let's go mystic on how did the Mayans know all of this? How did they make calendars that's better than ours? Nigga, they was smarter than you and you don't want to admit it. And the people that going back and go subscribe to what the ancients was saying, them the people they gonna laugh at the most, but them the people making the most sense, y'all. Just like Jesus was crucified, laughed at, but he made the most sense over the Pharisees and Sadducees and Neil deGrasse Tysons and Bill Nyes and all of them of the fucking world.
Facts.
Hey, bro, because hey, salutes to everybody, man. You know, when you got a telescope, it only show you more in depth what a thing is, show you what it is. It don't tell you what it is. So just by you seeing what it is, ain't finna give you no information on what it's really about. And then, man, when you was building on that word Petri, it you struck me, man, because Petri, right? That's the word father, and then Petri is the root word of petrified, and
Right.
they say
Yep.
to fear
Talk
the
to him.
father, and then to be petrified is to be
That's deep
like,
shit right there, Key. I ain't
Turning
gonna
to
even,
stone, ain't it?
nigga. This nigga Key
yeah,
got the Holy Ghost right now.
Turning to
God
stone.
damn, boy. Hey, look, that's some real shit, bro. You going real, you getting surgical with this shit.
to be petrified is to be frightened that one is unable to move or
Yeah, bro, and you ain't
or
gonna get
change
nowhere
themselves.
when you can't move. Come on, talk to him, nigga.
Move, man, because that one God that's the Father, and it also says
Bro,
to be changed into a
bro,
stony
watch this.
substance.
Watch this
Turning
while you
to a
going
stone.
in so deep, nigga. Think about what a predator do to a prey. It scared them to a point where they have this little slight hesitation like a deer in the headlights.
They be
And
shocked.
and now that little second gave me the edge, and now I got your ass.
So look,
Because yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, you cooking, yeah.
when a predator and a prey, right? So the prey is what? It's food or fuel, right? So Petri is also petro. You the gas
Come
and the fuel
Come
for
on,
this
Ooh.
man.
whole
Come
thing.
on, man. Bro, what
Fact.
y'all, and
Damn.
you know what's
Damn.
crazy? You're not gonna get these kind of decodings anywhere. It ain't like I'm being egotistical. Everybody on this panel don't even agree with everybody 100% on everything. But the thing about this community, everybody know when they come over here, the only thing that's gonna be valuable over here is what kind of intellect you can contribute to the bill. So that's
Exactly.
but that makes this shit over here really it puts the pressure on you to come with your syncretism on point.
And that's why a lot of people they don't get down with you, Sanchez, because most of these other I don't want to accuse them of being in the what we like the official boule, but they acting boule-ish with their whole
You
little
ain't telling no lies, Cook. Yep, you got
with
it.
their whole little circles. If you ain't in with their exact narrative, you
Mm-hmm.
can't come with. You
You
can't
can't
be
come.
on their page.
Mm-hmm.
They
You
ain't
can't
trying to
come
hear that
because
shit.
So
listen,
they locked in. That's a cult. They locked in. You know,
a
they fear when you shake their establishment.
a
Yeah,
chain only touches at one spot, so we only need to agree on one thing to connect the chain. If we agree upon on everything, it ain't making a chain. We welding a piece of metal together. We need a chain to go across this thing, across this grid. So
man,
we
come
only
on.
need to link at one spot. We only need to agree on one thing. That means we have agreed upon, we made a connection. That's it. We don't have to agree upon everything and build the Tower of Babel going upwards. We need a
Yeah.
chain going across, connecting everybody.
That's what
And
syncretism
see
does. That's what
the thing
syncretism does.
about what's so
Syncretism.
deep about what y'all saying, Omar, is the chain that connects us going across also help us go forward like a school of fish that's
Mm.
connected horizontally and vertically, how they make this like barber pole shit with their whole formation. That's deep right there. But let me pass it back to Omar real quick.
Yeah, they don't make the connective fibers is what I get really mad at that. Like it's syncretism. Like all you have to do is connect what the symbolism, connect all of it together, and you'll be able to see how these changes have happened within
Yep,
society.
you
It's
will.
because of they have one agenda. It's one agenda, and that's called blackface. That's the fuck it is. Okay, and then okay, everything else after that is whatever it is. But
It kind of made me feel like a lot of times it's hard to find someone who really wants to have a sincere either debate or back and forth with you, somebody who really wants to know. When somebody is stuck in a belief, they're not really trying to hear what they don't want to face the other information that they might not know or know, kind of deal, right? And it
Yeah.
seems like it's hard to find someone to even have a conversation with when it comes to that, because they're not going to ever be sincere. They're going to always confiscate and not want to answer the question and not think about it to really, you know what I'm saying? Because if I feel like I'm right and you trying to tell me that I'm wrong, I want to know how I'm wrong. If you please tell me how I'm wrong, right? And I want to know the information that the way I could be up on it, right? But it
Right.
seems like when you have conversations with certain kind of people, man,
Yeah.
it's not sincere because they don't really want to know. They just want to be right. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
That's kind of
Yeah,
how I
that
see it.
And
part. No, that part right there.
how I can agree
That's
with what you
Cesario.
saying. You know how I can agree with what y'all saying about Tazaria, because I've been there. But you know why I'm able to admit that in front of everybody? Because everybody know when you become a flat earther, your ego had to get pushed so far aside for you to come out and say, look, man, earth flat. Yep, everybody on that side, but I'm on this side, and I know because think about this, right? Now look, I'm showing images right now of the flower of life. Look at these images on the screen. I'm just gonna give you an example of what I'm saying. If you look at these images and you go back to what I was saying about the AE map, which is flat Earth, you can see what I'm showing you here. You can see how the magnetic ley lines come from the North Pole. Now look, this image here is the Schumann resonance. Do y'all see that there's a human face at the middle of this
Mm.
ripple effect?
Man,
Mm.
that
Wow.
Come on, man.
part, yeah. And the other one got a face.
And
And
this right here is the science of electromagnetism that even a flower is based upon. But check this out, right? They turned this into the god Saturn, which is a dude surrounded by a bunch of rings, but it was
Mm.
teaching about this right here, what I'm showing right now. What this shows is that the real you is at the North Pole. That's why that face is at the middle. And all the ripples around you is your aura, your human aura, your chakra layers, which are the egos, the layers of the self. And the middle, you can't be born until the layers around you fall off like snake shedding its skin, like cracking an egg to let the chicken out.
If you
That's
look at the one in the middle, you can even see the Masonic signs, and that was, you know, going back. Well, the real Masons go back, you know, 5,000-6,000 years, you know, back to Samaria. But you know, you can see the Masonic symbolism in the middle one as well. But they probably wasn't even they didn't call themselves Masons. You know what I'm saying? It's just the people that call themselves Masons hoarded all this and try to take it from us when it's our information. It all came from us. So right now we just remembering.
Yes, sir.
Remembering is becoming a member again of something. A member of what? With the real you, your soul.
No,
What Sanchez just
gnosis.
said.
Yeah, that's facts. Hey, let me say this real quick to everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel. We about to enter an exciting part of the stream now. Well, first, let me say shout out to my sister Demi for joining once again. I see you, Sister Demi. How you doing?
Peace. Thanks for having me on. Peace panel.
All the time.
Peace.
Shout out to
Bounce
Rhett
on
and
it.
Wisdom Thought,
indeed.
and to the new people joining out. And then also, let me do this real quick. I just thought about it. Let me drop the link again. Does anyone else want to hop on now? I ain't gonna drop the link too much, but watch what we about to do now. We about
Brother
to hop
Sanchez.
over. Yeah.
My 4-year-old daughter just came out, so I'm gonna have to hop off the panel, but I'm gonna still be rocking with you, brother. But I just want to say love, balance, and wholeness to you, brother. Salute, and love, balance, and wholeness to everyone, the panel, and everyone that's here right now.
Same to you, brother. Thank
Indeed.
you for
Likewise.
joining.
Peace.
Appreciate that.
All right, love
Sure.
y'all.
Hey, Sister
Likewise.
Freedom. Sister Freedom.